So yes, here it is, the Surface Book 3, the 15-inch banger, and I'm really excited to actually get my hands on this. I'll be comparing it to the XPS 15. By the way, the XPS 15 may arrive today, I may be lucky, but more likely next week. So that gives me time to hook into this. Of course, I will be comparing it to the XPS 15, compared to the MacBook Pro 16, comparing it to the MacBook Pro 13, and the latest and greatest Windows laptops. We're going to see how this thing performs. So yeah, I did decide on the 15-inch. Why? Just because it had the beefier graphics. I want to see, can it replace other 15-inch laptops? Because this does have a quad core. It doesn't have a 6-core or an 8-core CPU. But a lot of things these days are hardware encoding. And for example, the MacBook Pro 13 in Lightroom export beat a Ryzen system with 8 cores with a quad-core CPU. Not too dissimilar to this. Now this one has the lower watt version. This has a 15-watt Ice Lake G processor. So it's not a U processor, it's a G processor, so it's Ice Lake based. Now the one in the MacBook Pro 13 is 28 watts. This is configurable to 25 watts. It's actually going to be very interesting to see how many watts it can actually push. What's it configured to? Will it sustain 25 watts or will it go back down to 15 watts? Which sort of makes it more like an Ultrabook. This has the 1660 Ti in it, so 6 gigabytes of RAM there. I just wonder if Microsoft chose the wrong CPU. They could have chosen the U part, which is a 15 watt part, and it could have had 6 cores. Now I understand on a 13-inch, you can get it without the graphics card. Maybe it makes sense to have the Ice Lake CPUs. But with this one here, given that you can only get it with the graphics card, because you can get it with 1650 as well, and also an RTX Quadro 3000 if you're a business or an enterprise or whatever, given that it's always going to have a graphics card, why not have 6 cores as well? But anyway, let's get into it. So if I haven't mentioned, this one actually does come with the i7. So let's open her up. Oh yes, these things are sexy. They are well built. A lot of people ask me what laptop this is when I have the Alienwares in the house. And with the Alienwares, I always get asked. Like, I have a lot of laptops, a lot of people come around, whatever, and they see laptops, they don't even blink an eye, right? Alienware, they're always like, what's that computer? This is the second most commented computer. Like, they're just like, wow, that's amazing, especially once I show that the screen can come off, right? Now, I reckon the 15 inches to go, it's not that heavy. I mean, the 13 inch is a little bit heavier than its, say, competition if you're talking about, Ultrabooks, but it does have a graphics card that separates it a little bit, but it's a little bit porkier than other 13-inch laptops. It is a 13.5, but this thing here, it's not that much heavier than the 13. I think it's like half a pound or something. And look at it. It is beautiful. I actually wouldn't mind a darker grey, but yeah, you can see the sides there. Got that, little gap there. Yeah, it's not Thunderbolt 3, USB Type-C, you can charge through that as well. You got the Microsoft connector there, that's awesome. I love that they kept that because, this is very expensive, and if you trip over the cord, it's just gonna come out. And of course, you can use USB-C if you want as well. On the other side, we have USB Type-A's and SD card reader, full size, awesome, whatever that is. And we have here a 127 watt power brick, okay? 127 watts, it shouldn't drain from the battery anymore. So yeah, so that's basically all you get in the box. I just want a quick look. What sort of wattage is it gonna hold? I'm gonna do my gaming review first, I think. Let me know in the comments what you would like reviewed. Yeah, that's a sexy thing. Okay, here, now, have a look at it. Screen full brightness. I will say the trackpad and keyboard, I can already tell you, it's friggin' awesome. It is really amazing. And it's big party trick, let's do it. They actually worked on the mechanism this year. Ooh, floppy, went floppy, boys, girls. Oh, now that turned my floppy into a solid state, and there's the party trick, right? Can use this as a tablet now. Get around 4 hours battery life. The good thing about these, amazing battery life, class leading battery life. You're not going to get a 15 inch with the battery life of this, or even a 13.5 inch. We're talking well in excess of 10 hours. Around 3-4 hours on that, and you get another over 10 hours with the base there. And the 15 inch is supposed to have better battery life. Of course, I'll test that. This is maximum brightness, or it was. Yep, she's still maximum brightness. And it is a bit glossy, this display, I will say that. I've noticed that with all the Surface products, they are a bit glossy. Yeah, It would be better if they had better reflective coating, but the display looks awesome. And they're supposed to be around 450, 500 nits, even though they don't specify. Yeah, let's find out what it can push, how many watts it can push. Oh, first, oh, what happened there? It just attached. Oh yes, look at that. So it automatically attaches, and I'll just do that again because I want my thumbnail. How does that look? Is that a good thumbnail? Okay, now let's get into the nitty gritty, and we have a Cinebench score of 1252, which is like around 750 short of a MacBook Pro 13. That has a 28 watt part that can sustain 35 watts. This sustains about 25 watts. That's about 2.6, 2.7, whereas the MacBook Pro 13 does about 3.3, something like that. Anyway, Luxmark 16023, 65 watts it draws. That GPU draws 65 watts, and there's the SSD speeds there. And as you can see, the write speeds is about near enough 800. Now, they did say it's the fastest SSDs they put in a laptop. Well, to be honest, I would expect a write speed of over 1,000 at least. But anyway, this is the 256 gig model. Expect if you have a 512 or a 1 terabyte, it should be faster. Now, we have a look at the read speeds, 1987. Yes, 1987, that was a good year. Let me tell you, 1987, it was permanent solid state, 100% 24/7. There was not one hint of a floppy in 1987. Now, USB Type-C, you can get actually external SSDs that can do about 1,000 read and write. So, yeah, a little bit short there, but you're not going to notice in real world anyway. Now we're going to see its total thermal capacity. Now, I just said the CPU maintains about 25 watts. The GPU is the 1660 Ti, which sustains about 65 watts or uses 65 watts. Actually use 66 watts at its maximum. So now what we're going to do is run Cinebench and Luxmark. And we know the score's about 1250 on Cinebench. What will the score be when we're hitting that GPU 100%? So let's hit that GPU 100%. Let's go to test selected only. Right, so the GPU's been hit 100% now. Now we're going to hit the CPU 100%. It's going to be very interesting to see. Now, boosted up to 35 watts there. All right, so far so good. Still maintaining 27 watts. And that GPU is being lit up 100%. Can't hear the fans yet. It does do 100 degrees, no problems. You can feel a bit of heat at the back of the display there. Yeah, that is one thing, but it's not on your lap or whatever, but yeah, you can feel it. It will maintain 100 degrees throughout the test. That's a thing. We're maintaining 25 watts. GPU is 100% lit up now. You can see that with Luxmark. If we have a look here, it is definitely been lit up 100%. So we're drawing 65 watts from the GPU while we're doing this Cinebench run. And I can hear the fans kicking in now, still maintaining 25 watts. So if this gets around a 1200 score, that means with the GPU lit up 100%, it doesn't affect the CPU. So that's good for gaming and good for, tasks where you're hitting the GPU and CPU 100% of the time. We're still maintaining 25 watts. Can you hear the fans now? Have a listen to the fans. Yeah, so the base has fans, and of course the display has fans because the CPU is actually in the display. I hope I didn't hit the mic there. The CPU and that, and the SSD is in here. The GPU is in here, an extra battery. Still maintaining 25 watts. We'll cycle through to the end and we'll see if it's still maintaining 25. GPU is finished. We're still using a maximum of 66 watts with the GPU. And you can see the CPU still going at 25 watts. So thermal capacity really good on this. That's good because the CPU and GPU are separated. You would expect that. But this can maintain 25 watts. And there you go. I got a higher score in Cinebench when I had the GPU lit up. What? That does not make sense. All right. So at the end of the day, I got a higher score in Cinebench with the GPU lit up. What? I don't know. Maybe it was doing updates in the background before or whatever. I don't know. Of course, I'm going to test this a few more times, but yeah, the CPU and GPU can go 100%, 25 watts on the CPU, 65 watts on the GPU continuously, simultaneously. So they both can go together and they both can go as hard as they want. Like there's no restrictions there. And the 127 watt package, yeah, you shouldn't be draining from the battery here. So great thermal capacity. A little bit warm behind here. I'm going to run this Cinebench again. But anyway, catch you in the next one. Make sure you stay tuned for my full reviews on this. And of course, my gaming review and comparing it to all the other laptops. Yeah, so far so good. So anyway, catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.